Please welcome retired judges David W. Herrick, retired Judge Richard L. Freeborn, and retired Judge Thomas N. Maddox. Ready. All rise. Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Lake, is now in session. The Honorable Michael S. Lunis, the Honorable Stephen O. Hedstrom, the Honorable Richard C. Martin, the Honorable Douglas A. Teal, and the Honorable Andrew S. Blum presiding. Please be seated. Court will come to order.
Please be seated, but they're all standing.
There's not any room. It's popular.
Good afternoon. Can everyone hear me? Well, the microphone sometimes works.
There you go.
All right. We are convened here this afternoon to witness the administering of the oath of office to our newest Superior Court Judge, J. David Markham. Welcome to David. Welcome to your family and friends. Welcome to everyone who's here. Thank you for being here. Obviously, anytime there is procedure, you feel like taking a picture, go for it. Okay? I'm going to begin by introducing everyone who's up here in a row, but you just mentioned all the names. We'll skip that. But I'm going to ask our staff to stand up for a moment here. I know you love doing this. Any one of you who works in the courts know that we have an excellent staff.
Yes.
They are efficient, always ready to help, and there's not much we could do without them. So thank you all. We are pleased that the governor has appointed Dave to the bench. We've all worked with Dave for many years. As a lawyer, he comes to court prepared and is professional. He has the experience, intelligence, and patience to do the job well. That sounds like a campaign speech. I have no doubt that he will be an excellent addition to the Lake County Superior Court. But Dave, remember the old phrase, be careful what you ask for. The job is demanding. At times, the hours are very long. As one of 4 judges on the bench, you will have a major impact in the lives of the citizens of this county. You will make countless decisions every year. Those decisions will affect people's property, their family, and their freedom. Budgets are tight, resources are stretched thin, and you will be expected to deal with large caseloads. There's already 2 of them waiting for you. By the end of the day, after handling 100 cases, 120, 140, your tail may be dragging. But you're not done, because you're a judge 24/7. You're going to get calls in the middle of the night about search warrants, bail enhancements, protection, emergency protective orders. And they're not going to care that you just got to sleep. But it's not all bad. It's gratifying to do a challenging job and to do it well. As I said a minute ago, you're going to be assisted by an excellent staff. All of the judges are always willing to help, day or night. I have no doubt you will enjoy the work. So welcome to the bench, Steve. Judge Lunis has a presentation to make.
Dave, congratulations to you and your family. I'm sure you're going to be an excellent addition to the bench. It falls upon me at this time to continue a time-honored tradition that started a number of years ago with Judge Golden. I'm informed that this plaque was inscribed by his wife, Gail, and he kept it in his chambers It's an inscription from Justice Learned Hand. He kept it in his chambers, and when he retired, he passed it on to Judge Crone, and it's been passed on since to each new judge on the bench as they succeed to the bench. I've held it for the last 5 years, and have read it on more than one occasion. I'm not going to read the whole passage for you. Justice Learned Hand, I think, died in the early 60s, so he was very well known in the early part of the last century, and the language in there, for example, just let me read you the first sentence. The judge's life, like every other, has in it much of drudgery, senseless bickerings, stupid obstinacies, captious pettifogging, all disguising and obstructing the only sane purpose which can justify the whole endeavor. And it goes on from there. I have read it on more than one occasion. I think that Justice Hand, for all of his philosophy, overstated how bad it is and understated how good it is. So I'd like to present you with this plaque at this time for you to have and to hold until the next time.
Turns out you're not going to have it very long. Someone else is bailing on that. Okay, any other judges wish to make a remark? I'm going to start down here with our retired judges. Judge
Congratulations.
Can't say it any better than that. Judge Freeborn.
Got a secret to tell you after doing this for about 40 years. You got to keep order in the court. Best way to do it is to treat everyone with respect, and you'll almost always get the same in return.
2 words: patience, perseverance.
Steve?
More than 2 words. I want to begin by saying that I spoke to retired Judge Bob Crone yesterday, and he cannot be here today. And he asked that I give Dave Markham his very heartfelt congratulations. It was 34 years ago yesterday that Bob Crone took the oath of office for the position of judge, and he administered the attorney's oath to David Markham. I believe it was in 2001. Dave, there's a scene in Tombstone, a Western movie produced in the early 90s that bears mention. In the particular scene that I'm describing, Johnny Ringo strides to the gaming table in a saloon where he encounters Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday. And at some point, Johnny Ringo whips out his Colt 45 pistol, and he points it in the face of Doc Holliday. Then he pulls it back, and then he points it in Holliday's face again. He pulls it back, and then he starts twirling it. He twirls it forwards, he twirls it backwards, he twirls it horizontally. And of course, everybody at that point is waiting for the gun down. And you can see the sweat on the brow of Doc Holliday. And everybody's waiting for his gun to come out and the shots to be fired. Well, after a dramatic pause, Holliday pulls out a tin cup, and he spins the tin cup forwards, he spins it backwards, he twirls it sideways. And at that point, everyone is relieved and the tension is over. And everybody here is probably wondering, what the heck is he bringing that up? Well, fast forward to 2001. On the first day I saw Dave Markham in court, he strode the counsel table, and he had his pen, and he twirled that pen and he might do that for us today. In any event, I was impressed by by his pen spinning. I mean, he didn't have a trigger guard to do it with. He didn't have a handle for a cup. This was just a, pen. I couldn't believe it. So I was impressed. But I was more impressed by watching his work as an attorney for the next 17 years. And he showed every quality you'd want to have in a good attorney. But there's something more important that gets us here to this day than all the stuff I've just talked about. I've known David's father, Jeff Markham, for about 40 years. We first met when he was a very young deputy sheriff. I was an even younger deputy DA. In any event, ever since Dave took the oath of an attorney, when I run into Jeff, a constant was him bragging about his son and talking about how proud he was of his fine work as an attorney. But more important than that, what he stressed every time he talked, and incidentally, we didn't talk about a single case. That's for the Commission on Judicial Performance. But more importantly, he was proud of Dave's ethics as an attorney and brought that up constantly. Basically, his point was that Dave did the right thing. And for all the time I've seen him practice, that's exactly what I've seen over the years. So that's why we're here today. David, I'm very happy to welcome you to the bench of the Lake County Superior Court. While I know you will work successfully with the other judges and with a great staff, incredible staff, and with a great bunch of lawyers that are going to appear before you over the next years and years of your career. Congratulations.
Judge?
Congratulations.
Rick?
David, I have been very happy to have you and Mike work for cases. You're always prepared, you're good to your client, you're totally honest, and you're forthright with the court. And whatever clients you've had, you've done a good job for. And you also have a good work ethic. You're working hard on every case. And best of all, you have what's called judicial demeanor. And that is the hardest one because it's a character trait that some people have and some don't, and you have it. And I think you're going to find with the group of judges that you're going to work with now, that you're going to have a really good bench. And I can tell you, based on my experience here, when we have a meeting, we discuss issues, rules of the court and so forth that we want to change or want to deal with, or whatever the issue may be, they all discuss it. Nobody takes a side right away. It's just like the jury instructions that you hear. They all discuss it. Nobody makes up their mind. And generally, all the decisions that we made in the judges' meeting were mostly, if not all, consensual with everyone. So it was unanimous each time. And that's a rare thing. Not all courts have that. And you truly will have colleagues that will work with you. You might have differences of views on things, but they will all work together and you'll have a cohesive unit here. The other thing that I want to say, you've heard some of the bad things. You do have a lot of time invested. You get calls in the middle of the night. All of those things. You come in on the weekends to prepare your calendar for the first Monday, which is coming up for you pretty quickly. And I remember being in your seat at that time, and they said, well, your files are back in the chambers. Go ahead and look at it. And it was the criminal misdemeanor calendar at 140 cases. And then I had another batch of cases for other subjects. There were even more. So the first thing I did was I looked at the cases and saw how many were on the list. And I said, 140, that means I have about 2 minutes for each case. I can't talk a lot about each case, but I've got to get through that 140. Otherwise, the burden goes on to a next day or another judge, and doesn't happen. So you'll get through that fine because you do have the work ethic. The good parts are you are going to have a job in which you affect people's lives, literally from birth to death. With adoptions and so forth, where people are adopting children and help create a family. You do weddings, things like that. Very nice. Those are the good types of cases that you really feel good about. And on death, we deal with probates and everything else in between. And all of their disputes, which they may have, may be civil, involves their money, may be a dissolution, it may be a probate, variety of different things. And also working on a court where there are 4 or 5 judges, you'll be able to do every type of law that there is. And you've got a good knowledge right now. You've done a lot of different things. But you'll get everything that comes down the pipe eventually through your career. And that's kind of exciting. I think most people who are judges, they like the challenge. They like something new to learn. And it gives you more invigoration to get up in the morning. Glad to come to work. And in particular, in your case, you're still pretty young. We're at a stage in human development here in this century that is just beyond anything any of us have ever seen, at least in my life. All the computer things, genetics to cure illnesses, things that we haven't even thought of yet that someone's going to invent. And those are the kinds of cases that are going to come up that you're going to see that have never happened before with that particular scientific issue or whatever the case may be. And it'll be very exciting. Now they're talking about AI. Where's that going to go? What's going to happen? You'll have challenges that probably none of us have imagined that are going to take place in the next 20 years, the way it's developed in the last 30 or 40. And that's pretty exciting. And you're going to be right in the middle of it, and you're going to be making the decisions. And so I'm happy that you're here, and I think you'll enjoy your career.
Mike, you want to follow that?
Yeah, why not? I've been following these guys for the last 5 years. And that's a good point to be made. Being the newest judge on the bench until today, I would tell you that there are those days where you have the 160 and 180 on the calendar, and you're beating yourself to get done by 5 so the staff can go home on time. And you go home and you're too tired to have dinner, and you wonder, wow, what an experience. But just as you're thinking that, you're also thinking, you know, today was a great day. Accomplished things, you did good, and you're thinking about the next day where you're not going to be doing the same thing you did the day before. You're going to be doing something completely different, a whole new set of challenges. And I dare say that there won't be a day that you'll have in your career going forward where you won't be worn out from the day before, but you won't be excited to come to work the next morning to face a new challenge, because as all the judges have said, you know you're making a difference, you know you're accomplishing good. In my last 5 years, I have called upon the experience here on this bench, which is probably 100 years if you add it all up.
The elder judge.
The elder judge. Went in to ask questions, it's to get answers, guidance, and assistance. This is a very collegial bench, one that works very well together. You will hear stories from other rural counties and mid-sized counties where judges fight with each other, have fiefdoms, and don't get along, and create issues. That's not here. This is a great bench and an absolutely fantastic staff and administration for the court that will support you and be behind you 100% of the time. It is a pleasure to come to work. I think you'll find that to be the case. You'll enjoy the challenges. I know with your experience and background, you will be successful. Welcome to the bench, and my pledge to you is when you need assistance, guidance from me, my door will always be open 24/7. Door will be available to you anytime. And welcome. Look forward to working with you.
With that, I will step down to administer the oath. You do it first verbally and then in writing. That means you're really a judge. Basically, raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, J. David Markham,
I, J. David Markham,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of California,
the Constitution of California,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without any mental reservation
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties upon which I am about to enter.
the duties upon which I'm about to enter.
Face the audience.
Oh, yeah.
May I introduce to you Lake County's newest Superior Court Judge, the Honorable J. David Markham. You're presiding now.
All right. Oh, yeah.
Okay, I want to start off by telling everyone here today that I really appreciate your support. Afterwards, we're going to have a reception at T&T's. I'd like every one of you to show up if you can so that I can personally greet you and thank you for your support. This is a pretty surreal experience for me. As was mentioned earlier, Judge Crone, who sat in Department 2 when I started as an attorney, swore me in December of 2000. On that day, if you said that I would be sitting where he was sitting, I wouldn't have believed you. But I'm here today. And my first appearance as an attorney was in this very courtroom, and that was in January of 2001. I'm humbled and honored to have received this appointment, and although I worked hard for it, I certainly didn't do this on my own. It wouldn't have happened without your support and encouragement. This was a long process. I applied for this position at the governor's office about 2 years ago. Letters were written on my behalf, questionnaires were answered, people were interviewed. People involved in that were judges, attorneys, law enforcement, court staff, members of the community, and even clients. I was a defense attorney for 15 years, and one thing I learned is that where you come from, how you were raised, and who raised you has more impact on who you'll become than anything. And that's certainly true in my case. And I would never be in this position today if I didn't have the support and the encouragement and love and the parents that I have. So I want to thank them for. Lake County has been really a great place to work as an attorney. The attorneys that I've worked with, whether we worked together on cases or opposed each other on cases, have always been professional, respectful, and helpful. You know, an example is probably 6 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago, I decided to start practicing family law. I didn't know much about family law. The family law attorneys really could have easily taken advantage of me, but they didn't. They were always helpful and kind, and they helped me out, and it's been like that no matter what kind of law I practice in this county. I was also lucky to practice here because since I've been here, at least, we really have had excellent judges. I'm not going to talk about all of them, but I do want to talk about one, and that's Judge Martin. I have really large shoes to fill by taking his spot on the bench. And I don't remember if it was, I think it was he who stated that one of the most important qualities a judge needs is to have a judicial temperament. And according to the ABA, judicial temperament means that a judge exhibits compassion, decisiveness, open-mindedness, sensitivity, courtesy, patience, freedom from bias, and commitment to equal justice. In my opinion, nobody exhibited judicial temperament like Judge Martin. He is truly a role model in my eyes. I only hope that I can fill the role of judge half as well as he has during his career. I can't promise that I'll always make the right decision as a judge, but I can and do promise that I will work as hard as anybody to be the best judge that I can be. You deserve that, the citizens of this county deserve that, and this will be how I give back to Lake County, a county that has given me so much. One thing that people have told me before today is, try not to be too long-winded, so I'm going to do that now. I'm going to stop talking, but again, I want to thank everyone for their support, and I hope to see you at the reception of Teen Peace. Thank you. So, this might be one of my favorite sayings, but court is adjourned.
Judge, are you excited today?
Yes. Yes.